Lost Souls. The views and opinions of guests do not necessarily reflect those of the Lost Soul podcast or the Vibes Broadcast Network.
All right, everybody, I'm here tonight with Amber on Lost Souls. She's a psychic medium, a healer, intuitive empath, tarot reader, and, in my eyes, a public figure completely.
You're too kind. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Amber. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. So let's go ahead and dive in then.
All right.
So as a psychic medium, do you ever find it a bit challenging?
Absolutely. If I'm being completely honest, it's very difficult on a day-to-day basis, especially when you're not used to it, because with mine, it's been such a short period of time, so much in a short period of time, I should say, and it's definitely a challenge. Absolutely.
Okay. So did you find that your gifts kind of came in pieces, or like when did they start?
They came in pieces. They started about, I can remember the date. It was August 1st of this last year. It started with a feeling that I could hear somebody that I was not physically talking to that was at a distance, and it went from there. I had a connection that still do, that is very strong, and it started with me recognizing that, and that was very strange. And then from there, it was the tarot readings, and then being told I was a healer, and from those, because I not only do I do the tarot readings, but I follow them. But, yeah, it's definitely come in little bits and pieces at a time, and I believe it's because there's only so much you can handle at once.
Yeah, so it's just, not that that's just recent, but has that ever, do you feel that you had any other experiences growing up?
Oh, definitely. I remember very distinct experiences when I was probably about 7, seeing an imaginary friend and having them talk to me, and now here in later years, come to find out that where they said they were from, I could verify, which was pretty crazy. But, yeah, I definitely saw things, felt things when I was younger. It went away because I believe that I probably wasn't ready for anything like that. And I've also had experiences throughout my entire life, little ones here and there, but nothing like, oh, I have these gifts. Nothing like that until recently.
What would you say, maybe could you give us an example of one of those experiences?
Well, the one when I was younger was, I had a young girl that came to me who was a little bit older than me that I believed was, just an imaginary friend. And around that time, I had seen the movie Titanic, and I'd kind of become, as a 7-year-old, which was weird, there are certain things throughout my life that I've kind of become obsessed with and had taken extreme interest in, and Titanic at that time was that, and I didn't understand why, but I remember what the girl said her name was, and it was Katrina, and come here in later years, like, just kind of thinking back on it, I still am very interested in the Titanic, and it's something that I think I always will be, and doing some research on passengers and stuff that pass away. Well, there's only a certain amount of children, and there was only one name, and it was Katrina, and to me, and she was Belgium, and to me, when you're a little kid, I think you'd hear Katrina. So that kind of verified that for me. That was one experience that kind of blew me away. Just to know, just to connect back in my younger years, you know?
Yeah.
So that was one pretty crazy experience that I've had, but there's been several, and some are more personal than others, and some I'm not exactly willing to talk about, but
Oh no.
I just had a lot of signs pointing me to where I need to be right now. I'll put it that way.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So while you've been learning about your gifts and having these different impressions and things, have you ever felt like a sense of peace, like when you're able to help others with your gifts?
I don't know if peace is the right word, and that was something I was trying to, when I was thinking about it. To me, it's more of a sense of fulfillment. It's more of a sense of joy and fulfillment. It's something that I feel like I'm good at doing. I feel like I get a great feeling from being able to help people, and then from there, it's just something I feel like I should be doing. So more of a sense of fulfillment than peace, I would say.
Okay, I can only imagine the feeling and stress that can even bring on, because I don't even know what that feels like, you know?
Yeah, it's a process. It's definitely a process, and a recent event that we've had lately here in my family, it's been a really good thing, and it's something I've posted about on my Instagram, and it's something that my sister is going through, and it was an extremely good thing, but it also puts a huge weight on your shoulders, and no one, unless you go through an experience like that, you can't really understand. It's complicated, but it is a lot of pressure, and it is a lot of like, well, what if I can't help everybody, you know? And that, to me, that's important, is for me to be able to help as many people as I can.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like, I think just helping others for myself, like in what we do, there's nothing like getting them in tune or in touch or clarity or just a sense of closure.
Absolutely. And, as a medium, the spirit world it impacts so much more than people realize. And when spirits are at unrest, the world feels that. And I feel like on an energetic level, it impacts people. And that's why it is so important to do what we do. And because we help put people at ease, like souls at rest. It's a balance. And I feel like because this has become paranormal things and spirituality and stuff is becoming so much more popular, it's because it's the world's way of saying, hey, this needs to be balanced out. There's too much bad. The good needs to come through. So that's where I'm at with why I have my gifts and why I feel like so many people are having gifts happen, is because the world needs a lot more good.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
Yeah.
So do you feel like anyone in your family has also had these gifts, or are you the first of your generation?
Of my generation, I am the first, but my younger sister has gifts. It is an ancestry thing from what I understand and from what I've kind of learned. I believe my dad does. I think my mom might, but she's not very accepting. But I do believe it runs on both sides of my family.
Well, that's really awesome.
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of a family affair then.
Kind of. I didn't ask for it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I've had experiences here and there, but my experiences, I guess, I just finally decided, like, I don't care what, like, if people think I'm weird or because I became a paranormal investigator or what, they think of the devices I use, or they might laugh at me when I'm out in different places, or even watching my videos. They just think I'm out there talking to myself, but there's nothing like embracing your weird, I guess, for me.
I am the same way. You know, I fought it for a very long time. I tried to be what I thought everybody else, be like everybody else, what I should be. And now it's like, since this has happened to me and all of this stuff, it's like, why? Why should I care? Why should I care what people think? I'm doing good. I'm doing good for myself. I'm doing good, I think, for other people. At least that's my intention. So who cares?
Yeah.
People don't have to believe. They can believe whatever they want.
I agree. And I still let them believe whatever they want. I mean, I love it when they ask me questions, like when they're brave enough to be like, so, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just to be able to guide them. Like, we had a one of our last investigations, we had a girl that knew the family that came with us, and I gave her some divining rods and taught her how to speak, how to ask questions, and what to do. And it was an amazing experience for her.
Oh, wow.
Because she could, I don't know if you've ever used divining rods to ask questions, but
no,
like,
I have not.
You feel it. Like, it's crazy. Like, in your hands, like, you feel the energy that's being used, whether good or bad, to answer the questions.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yes.
Sorry, I could talk about that all night.
No. It's very similar. My communication is very similar. It's just more in my head. It's more of a sensation in my head. And like, I've tried to explain it before, and people think you're crazy because essentially you have something talking to you in your head. It's your own voice, but it's not you. And that's the crazy thing. And that's why, like, and then I say stuff like that, and I'm like, Amber, you sound insane. But, like, God, if you would have talked to me about this a year ago, no. I mean, I believed in certain things, absolutely. I mean, I grew up with an OG Ghost Hunter fan, like, me and my dad, that's what we did. It was stuff we watched. It was what we were interested in for fun. Did I ever think that my life would be this way and I would end up having that? Absolutely not. No. And I'll be the first to say that it sounds insane. But until it happens to you, or if it does, I mean, if you're blessed and cursed enough for it to happen to you, you can't understand.
Yeah, I agree, because I can't even comment, because I have no idea what that feels like. Like, I think it's awesome, personally, but I think if, it's different when it's you that it's happening to, People like me are just like, that's awesome. That's so cool.
No, it's like, and that's where I'm at in my journey. That's where I'm struggling, is finding, because it's so new, because it's so, like, you have lessons. We all have lessons. And my toughest one is positivity. That's one of my hardest. Positivity and patience and finding a balance. And I feel like all of those tie in together. And so I'm trying to see the good and what it is, and not focus on the bad, because that's the whole point. Focusing on the good and not the bad.
Yeah, I agree completely. Because if you go in just looking for the bad, I mean, even some of the places me and my partner Randy go, like, we go to places we don't even know if there's going to be activity. We just find some historic sites just to see if there's anyone out there that needs help. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten, I remember we went to this one place, it's a little mud fort. Like, it was literally built out of, like, mud and straw in, like, 1860. And we're asking questions. And we were using a SB11 with some other things. Like, we had some lights that if you, like, walked by or brushed, or if something was to walk by them, they'd go off. Yeah. So we had some of those, and so one of those starts going off. And I can't remember what Randy said. He said something like, "It's okay, we're friends." And a clear woman's voice says, "You're here." Like, no static, no anything. And I was like, okay, so we got... I can't remember what the second word was that she said, but we were so excited. But
And did you feel like it was a good...
Yeah, like, we didn't feel, like... I feel when I'm around the good spirits, it's a good feeling. I feel good vibes. When I'm around something that's more evil or just bad or even maybe just like malicious in a way, for me, I feel like dark or kind of sick to my stomach or just gross, Yep.
Well, see, then you may have gifts more so than you realize. I feel like anybody in this field, whether you are just an investigator that doesn't have these titles, or you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're all drawn to it for some reason. Everybody does have these things inside of them. In all honesty, you do. And it's your choice whether you choose to develop them or not. And like I said, I feel like anybody in this field has some kind of feeling, or else they wouldn't be interested.
Yeah, I agree.
So you may have more empathic gifts than you realize.
Now I'm kind of like, yep, I know who to call now. When I need to figure this stuff out. Okay.
You can feel it. You can feel the positivity and the negativity. The more you work on it, the more you can decipher. And that's important. It's really important to know. Not just with spirit, but with people.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel kind of awesome right now. Not gonna lie.
You should.
So speaking of like paranormal investigations, have you ever considered doing some yourself or helping any others with some investigations?
Absolutely. That's actually what I really want to do. Back when we used to watch, when I was younger, it was always something I was interested in. And now that this is happening, I feel like that's where my path is leading me. So absolutely, when I feel like I'm ready and I have enough control over my gift and that I can decipher, because that is very important, it's definitely something I really want to do.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just hope you breeze through Utah sometime so we can bring you out and help us.
Do you have a dream to travel and go to a lot of different places? Because I've never been able to travel. And just to be able to travel and see like the world and be able to do that, I feel like that would be the ultimate thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So if you could go anywhere right now, and just even if you're just going, not necessarily to investigate, where would you go?
I love Italy.
Oh.
So Italy is a huge place I would go. But as for, like, to investigate right now, I have a really big obsession with the Chris Watts case at the moment. So I would love to be able to, if I felt I was ever ready, be able to investigate that house.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with that case, but
yeah
that's where I want to go.
Well, hey, we all have our places. I like the Queen Mary.
Yes.
But
or the Titanic, or like the Titanic Museum.
I've never been there, but I would love to do that too. It's
in Michigan, I believe, and I want to go because, like I said, I have certain obsessions with certain things and certain events in history, or, I'm also really it sounds horrible, but, like, I'm true crime and serial, like, just murder cases. There are certain places and, like, for serial killers and stuff that I wish I could visit. I know how evil it would be, but I feel like it's just something I would need to do in my life. I don't know why, but...
And that's something all of us love. Like, there's so many people that actually, like, adore that kind of stuff. Not the bad part, just the investigating, the stories, the craziness that it takes a person to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely half and half for me. It's half psychology and it's half other influences. And that's what I find so fascinating, is how could certain things transpire, and like just looking back, and there's like, if you look back at certain things, especially with the Watts case, like there's so many signs so many clues as to like what the truth is, and that's why I like to investigate that kind of stuff, and just to like kind of confirm if like outcomes are certain things or what I believe they are to be. You know, that's why. But that's just my own thing.
Oh no, I agree completely. Like when I was going to school, I studied criminology when I was going to college, and I loved every second of it.
It's fascinating.
It was so fascinating. Our teacher would be like one of our professors, we watched like half a season of Breaking Bad and half a season of The Wire, and just like,
oh my gosh,
we just dribbled them all down to just from the bottom to the top, like how these kids ended up where they are and the different theories and what entices what. No, I love all of that stuff.
Me too. It's a lot of like fate and destiny and like making certain choices, or like what is to me, what is predestined, what isn't predestined, what could we do to change it if we possibly could have. Like, go back, let's look at the backstory here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That kind of stuff to me is really fascinating, because I feel like if you can break it down, you can understand. And not that you would always want to understand, but it answers questions. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, nope, I'm the same way. Even if it's one I've already seen or one I've already studied, if they come out with a new series, I'm like, I have to watch it even though I already know everything that there is to know.
Yep, it's a new video of almost the same information, but it's said in a different way. Let me hear it.
Yes. I agree. I agree. So, let's say, like, if someone is either growing up right now, or maybe one of our listeners is learning about some of their gifts right now, what would you say to them? Like, what advice would you give them?
My advice would be to stay as positive as you possibly can, because there's so many instances that it's going to try to take you down, and it's your own emotions. It's hard to deal with, but you're not alone. That's a huge thing. There's so many people out there that have the same thing walking around with you that you wouldn't have no idea, and they're fighting the same battles you are. I'm so early in that I don't know how much better it gets or how much easier it gets, but it does get easier. And just to stay strong, because you have to be as strong as you can be. You already are a strong person if you're chosen to have gifts like this, and you just need to stay that way, I guess.
Yeah, I always think of it like Elsa. You just gotta let it go.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Just do it.
Yep.
I know. Can I make Disney references?
Control anything. Don't try to control anything that comes to you. Like, don't fight it. Just let it happen.
Just let it go.
Just let it go. Absolutely.
Now that we're both going to have that song stuck in our head for the rest of the night.
Oh my god. I already do with my daughter, with all the Frozen she listens to.
Yeah. Mine's
Frozen 2 is actually a very, like, if there's any younger viewers that are listening, watch Frozen 2. Because honestly, that is the best sense it could be to get through what's happening to you. She is, like, it's on point. Like, with Elsa developing her gifts and everything, it's on point. So, that helps me. Watching Disney movies helps me. That's really, I try to stay grounded and happy. So, watching Disney movies helps.
That's good to know. I'm gonna have to go start watching some more Disney movies to work on my gifts now.
Yep.
Now I know what I need to do.
Just positivity, I guess. Anything that brings you positivity. That's very important.
Yeah, I just always try and keep the good vibes. Just when you can, keep the nasty bad people away from you. You know, like, and we're all different. We all have our days, but there's some people that are just energy suckers, and they just take everything out of you.
Yeah, I experience that on a daily basis, with people like at a distance from me. So it's very hard, especially when you're developing. Like you're like, which is mine and which is theirs, and what do I need to cut off and what do I, keep, and it's so confusing. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, just stay as far away from negativity as you can.
No, I think we're both on the same page there. It's like
Yeah.
even when, like, I've had some people that have wanted to join our group, and it's just me and Randy,
Yeah.
and Randy's such a positive person. Like and so I like to feel I am too, but if like we can go out somewhere and we're just like, it doesn't matter. Like Randy, when it comes to communication, like he's still like kind of skeptic. He has his moments where he's skeptic, but he can.
I think that's healthy.
Yeah, he can take a digital recorder outside and be like, "Hey, my name's Randy and I'm here to talk to you," and they're just like, "Hi, Randy." I'm like, it's not fair. But
It isn't fair.
But some of the people we've had that have wanted to come out with us too, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time saying no. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like I still do. I just kind of don't respond.
Because there's a specific vibe you need to have within yourself to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's really important. Like the people that you go around in investigations and stuff, you have to be able to trust.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to know that they have your back on certain things. Like it's definitely a teamwork, and you need to make sure that you have the correct teammates.
Yes. And that's
very important.
Like some people I'd like to take out. Like there's some that do want to go out that I would take out, but they live, farther away. So it's one of those, like when they come visit, yeah, I'm definitely going to take them somewhere.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I just try and keep the good vibes. That's what it's all about in my eyes.
It is. It's really the most important thing is to stay positive, because there's going to be so many times where you feel like just breaking and giving up, because it's hard. It's a complete shift of your way of thinking, and it's like that's the hardest part. Is trying to wrap your mind around like why me, like it's just you just gotta trust that it's meant to be the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have said it better. That sounds great.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Amber. So, for those of us that are, well, I follow you. I've been following you for quite a while.
Yeah.
But those that are listening and some of our followers, where can they find you at on social media?
I am so far only on Instagram at the_high_priestess tarot, I believe that's what it is. I can't even remember my own. But yeah, at the_high_priestess_tarot, I believe is what it is. But that's where I am right now. I do have a YouTube channel that I have kind of set up, but I have not brought myself to make videos on, but hopefully very soon I will be making videos on YouTube. So if you follow me on Instagram, I do updates on that when I do new things. So that is where you can find me.
Well, that's awesome. And I'll tag you and everything. So I'll everywhere I post it, I'll make sure we get your tag name right and everything. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. I've had to type it enough the last few days. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is.
And I really don't ever have to type my name, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
It's been great having you, Amber.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. We're always here if you want to be a guest again.
Absolutely. Just let me know.
I will gladly let you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's been great, Amber. I'm going to let you go back to your evening then.
All right, you have a good one yourself then. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, Amber.